Hey cats, it's Ed, Energy Rod Bud here. A long run shoe test today of the recently acquired ADIDAS ADIZERO ADIOS PRO 3. That's ADIDAS. A slightly more conservative midsole stack here, I suppose. Certainly than the one I've been testing out recently, that Prime X Strung. Apparently the energy rods in this model are infused with the power of Amos Kipruto himself. How does the ADIZERO race shoe stack up against the trails of fair Yeovil Town? Let's rock! Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button for more running related content every week. Also hit that like button, it really does help beast and I out an awful lot. If you've got any questions you want to get straight to the mind of Ed Bud, please hit us up with a super thanks down below, it really does help out the channel. A different route for today's longer run, 11 miles or 17.7 kilometers in some mild conditions for October here in the UK. That's about 7 minutes 34 seconds per mile, about 4 minutes 42 per kilometer pace. I was out there for about an hour and 23 minutes and that was optimal apparently. At least that's what my Garmin says. I did have a gig last night and it certainly was a tester today to get out there, but I managed to do it somehow. All good for the training though, as I ratchet up the miles and get the intensity back there that I had before I was ill a couple of weeks ago. 384 feet of elevation, taking in some areas north of the town for some peace and quiet, away from the cars, the traffic, and the dogs. I did run with music this morning. It's becoming more of a thing for me again. For a long period of time I didn't want to run with music, I was just enjoying nature out there. I did use the Earfun Air Pro 2 today. They're a set of headphones that I reviewed last year. Particularly good bass response, and I really like the noise cancelling features. Do go and check out that review, I'll put a card up here somewhere. A mixture of Creedence Clearwater Revival and Johnny Marr's Call the Comet to energise the run. Great bass on those earbuds actually, very enjoyable sound. Sometimes some cheaper earbuds don't really have that response, but it was there. Anyway, let's get back on track. I did throw in some 3 by 1 mile reps at half marathon pace to give the shoes a darn good test. A mile of recovery in between because that's what I needed. I got up to about 11 miles and decided to call it a day. That was enough for me. Around about that point, the gig the night before started to catch up with me, and all 3 watches, yes, 3, barking at me that I need some good recovery now, so that's exactly what I've been doing. Watch out for 2 watch updates this week. I will have a review of the Coros Vertix 2 coming up very soon, followed by the Garmin Forerunner 955 a little later in the week. So if you're after some watch recommendations, you're in the right place. Otherwise, the shoe did not disappoint on today's longer run. Comfortable and without any hot spots or irritations today, using some ankle length ADIDAS socks. They're extremely soft and comfortable, perhaps a little bit too thick for some of you out there, but certainly as things get a little cooler here in the UK, they're ideal. I find them just right for this model. They add a little bit of extra cushion underfoot, which is always welcome, even when you've got an already very compressive midsole unit. Now, a number of viewers have been asking me questions about this shoe regarding this heel area here, with those quite coarse pods that you've got on the inside of the heel, whether I've had any slipping or rubbing with those. I haven't had anything like that whatsoever. I think I've only ever experienced anything like that like once or twice with all the hundreds of running shoes that I've tried out. Perhaps I'm just lucky in terms of sizing or foot shape or something, but yeah, certainly none of that here in the ADIOS Pro 3. I do find that sling-like section around the heel really does help to lock the heel in place. You don't get any movement there or slippage. I haven't found that those internal pads either in the heel damaged socks. A few people have commented that they've torn through socks with those. I don't know what those must have been made of, like paper or something. That is one of the most frequently asked questions actually that I've had about the ADIOS Pro 3. My socks have remained intact and I've really tried, you know. I really have. Moving on to the midsole now. The cushion of that Light Strike Pro foam that we find here in the ADIOS Pro 3 only seems to improve, just like all the other ADIZERO shoes that I've tested out over the last year or so. Things like the ADIOS Pro 2, the Sen 8, all of those improved the more and more miles you put into them. I think I've got about 32 miles into this one so far. I've only had it like 10 days or something. It's not bad. The shoe does feel like the midsole's livened up a little bit now. A little bit more forgiving, and that's very much typical behavior behaviour that we get with Lightstrike Pro. I think you need to bear that in mind if you're going to pick up a pair of these for racing. Just don't leave them in the box, get them out there and use them. Lightstrike Pro seems to be an extremely durable material, especially when you compare it up against something like the Zoom X. You just look at those shoes and they start falling apart. I'm kidding, but I think you understand what I'm aiming at there. I think take them out for some faster paced runs or some long distance efforts, and you will see the benefits of that when you use them on race day. Treat them a bit like they're Rocky from the film. You know, run the streets, climb up those steps, and Rocky saw the benefits of that when he eventually got in the ring. Quite a few people have asked me whether you miss the plate underneath the heel section of the shoe in this version. I have to be honest, while I've been running in the Prime X Strung quite a lot this week, I think that 10mm extra heel stack, the lack of the plate in this shoe, and the different drop as well between those two shoes did make this one quite a different beast to run in today. I think the Adios Pro 3 is probably not going to be for all of you. If you want a bit more stability, it's certainly there, but I think people that like that slightly higher heel to toe drop are going to still prefer the original Adios Pro 1 and the 2. There's a lot of Adidas fans like those boost shoes you used to be able to get, like the Adios 4 and the Adios 5. They had a much more aggressive heel to toe drop. I think a few people might start to actually drift back to shoes like that after a while. I don't think the copiously cushioned super shoes that we've had over the last few years are for everybody. Not everybody gets on with it. This shoe kind of feels a little bit like a super boosted version of the Takumi Sen 8. Of course, this beast is somewhat heavier than the Sen 8, but there's a lot of things here in the Adios Pro 3 that give me very similar feelings to that shoe. One thing I do enjoy about this one, certainly did today, was the fact that those energy rods give you a slightly more natural feeling, rather than just a flat plate underneath your mid to forefoot. I think it's the way the midsole flexes a little bit. There's just a bit more give there, certainly as you come down with your foot. It just feels a little bit more natural than having something totally flat there. I think it perhaps just means our toes can move in a slightly more consistent way as we'd expect from a standard shoe, or just walking around barefoot, I suppose. At half marathon pace, the midsole certainly is a contender, but I do like how it feels a little bit slower than that, perhaps at what would be marathon pace to me. Just feels like I'm rolling along. It's very sustainable as long as I've got a Kit Kat or something with me. Certainly a more a marathon shoe than a shorter distance race shoe for me. Onto the outsole. So today, unfortunately, did pick up some quite nasty debris that got wedged into the exposed Lightstrike Pro here, just under the rubber. I had to prise it out again with the jeweler's screwdriver, which is becoming quite a regular occurrence at the moment. Alas, this is a typical bugbear, and one you just got to kind of overcome really if you're going to use a shoe like this on a more regular basis, or for a race even. The addition of some extra material here in the back of the shoe is going to help out in terms of durability to the heel. Just going to reduce the abrasion from the road and the pavement, and I think extend the longevity of the Adios Pro 3. I certainly can't complain about the grip and traction offered here by the Continental rubber that we've got that stretches across the outsole of the Adios Pro 3. It's quite something, and only Puma grip applications in some recent shoes have actually got the better of that. Almost all flat road today on my longer run. Only a sprinkling of crunchy gravel to deal with and a little bit of wet grass. I would suggest that that's probably not the forte of this one, but I can't see too many people selecting this type of shoe for that type of terrain. In fact, I think the outsole handles pretty much exactly per the Takumi Sen 8, so if you've run in that shoe and you enjoyed the outsole grip there, you'll enjoy this one. So a good all-round outing there, very enjoyable today, some quite mild conditions. Good test for the shoe and myself after returning from that strange illness a few weeks back. Good to be out there a little longer and on my feet as well. Things all moving in the right direction at last. Though it does leave me perplexed a little bit at where they've positioned this shoe in terms of price. At $220, it's a little bit too much. When you got the superior cushion offered by the Prime X Strung at only £10 more, that shoe seems like a much better deal. Does feel as if they should have left this one round about $180 where the Adios Pro 2 originally was. Though I can't say that this offers the same ride or the same type of feel as the Adios Pro 2. It just feels a little bit more nimble and perhaps a little bit more versatile than this one. I think my solution there is to use whatever discounts you can get if you do want to pick up the Adios Pro 3. Any discount's going to make this shoe a little bit more appropriate. Well, I say that, the price is never going to be appropriate, but just a little bit easier to swallow. Let me know if you're a convert to the Adios Pro 3 or you're thinking about picking it up soon. down in the comments. Have you had issues with the heel slipping and eating your socks? Let us know. Musical interlude time. Today we have Johnny Marr's 2018 album, Call the Comet. This is one I've stuck onto my watch so I can listen to it whenever I'm out there rambling around. Fantastic album. There's so many different sorts of tracks on here. They put out a quite poppy single which was Hi Hello, but for me it's the delicate and subtle Walk into the Sea. This one's got some fantastic trademark Johnny Marr guitar parts, chimey and beautifully affected guitar sections, some lovely piano as well. Feels like it's a film score almost. Almost like a spoken word section in one part. It really is quite emotive, beautifully produced as well, very dense. You can really swim around in it, which is probably very apt considering the name of the song. Certainly a very emotional piece, and it's one of the best tracks on the album. Go and check it out, guys. Call the Comet by Johnny Marr. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of today's video, guys. It's always appreciated. Help the channel out with a super thanks down below if you've got a particular question you want to get straight to me. Big shout out to all the members as well. I appreciate all of you guys. Really did help out with your contributions, certainly when I was feeling ill. Hit that subscribe button, click the bell below for notifications. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you